Hi, this is Umber Ahmad. I work in attendance and I am answering 20 questions with Lightridge News.
So what was your first job?
My first job was selling eyeglasses. So my mom used to babysit this little boy, and his mom had just opened up her own store, optical store. And it was how I got in, basically. I got the job, and it was a fun learning experience. I learned a lot about glasses, about frames, what frames work on people, and I also found out that it's very hard to take measurements for especially if when people get into bifocals and trifocals, and which hopefully the students won't have to worry about for some time, but it's okay if you already wear them. But I could not measure them for the life of me. So, but it was a fun job.
Before you were working in the Lightridge attendance office, what were you doing?
Well, when I got this job, it was during COVID. So before COVID, I was trying to get into LCPS. So I was subbing for LCPS schools and basically local schools pretty much around this area. And I also had a job at the Welcome Center, which is part of LCPS, and they help assess and set up students that are coming in new to the country or new to the county, but English is not their native language. So we assess them and place them.
If you were to teach a high school class, what class would it be?
My favorite subject actually is history. And I love world history. So if I had the background for that, I would love to do that.
What's the biggest challenge of working in the attendance office?
The biggest challenge, I think, is trying to get students to understand that being here and being here on time is very important. You're basically developing who you are. You're practicing who you are every day of what you are eventually going to become. So I feel like these habits that we're building, that you're building on right now, is what's going to lead you in the future. So if you're coming in to school late, if you're rushing, if you're haggling like that, trying to get in, then that's just setting the tone of your day.
Has there ever been a day where no one has had an early dismissal?
No.
Do you believe that you've seen every student at least once?
At this point, no, because our school has grown, and we have over 1,900 students this year. Of course, it's going to increase next year. So I know for a fact that there are names that I'll still come across in one way or another, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know this child.
What is one thing or decoration in your office that you love?
Sadly, my decorations are they're bare minimum in this office. It's white walls, and if students have probably already observed many, many times over the last few years, I keep it kind of dark in here because I don't like the light reflection. But I have started collecting some plants. I have artificial that have been gifted to me. One was actually gifted to me by my son. He made it in class, and then I received something from a student, and then I have some real plants too. So I just like that area because that's actually nice and peaceful. I have everything at my fingertips.
What's it like working at the school your children attend?
I love it. So I love being here. This is not unusual for me and them to be in the same space and in the same learning space. I've actually worked prior, many years ago, when they were much younger, in the same school and program that they were in.
What's your go-to coffee order?
So I just started drinking coffee last spring. I have never been a coffee drinker. I would occasionally drink a tea, but but now that I have started drinking tea, I actually drink. I try to drink black with a little bit of cream, no sugar, nothing else, no flavor.
What's your favorite Lightridge memory?
Yes, when we first opened up, and we were here during COVID. And I got a full school tour by Mrs. Plunkett, who just recently retired. She was our financial technician. And in the main office, it was myself, two other admin assistants, and Mrs. Plunkett was here. Dr. Hitchman would be here. So Mrs. Plunkett was showing me around, and I love that. Anytime I think about that first time that I did that with her, it's just the best feeling. Like, it's a very sweet memory. I loved going around the school. I saw everything. So I've always had a very good idea of what classrooms are where, what is where, because I was able to get that firsthand when it was empty.
As a child, what did you want to do when you grew up?
When I was little, I wanted to be a teacher.
You deal with early dismissal and late arrival simultaneously. What's your advice to high schoolers managing a lot at once?
I think time management, and and I'm not really great at it myself, so definitely don't want it to be preachy or anything, but I think that's just a skill, that again, it's something to set you for your future. So if you're coming in late, what's your reason for coming in late? Try to, if it's a legit reason, that's fine. If you're leaving for a legit reason, that's fine. Sometimes we do have to do those things, but then of course you have your school, your schoolwork, your assignments, and then of course if you're participating in any sports, or theater, music, any club that requires more time of you, of course you have those responsibilities too. So I feel like, kind of juggle with time management so you can manage your day, but breathe through it all, because it can get hectic.
Speaking of high school, what's something you did in high school that you didn't tell your parents?
Well, considering I'm in high school, I'm working in a high school right now, I may have skipped.
As an attendance person, you skipped?
Well, so it was one of those things, I did it, and then it was pretty lame because we didn't really go anywhere. We just hid in the building. I mean, we're just walking around in the building, and we didn't have all of the security that we have now. We had one officer, I don't even remember his name, and so yeah, I skipped, and I don't think they found out. I don't remember getting, reprimanded for it.
What do you hope students know about you when they check in and out of your office?
That I'm happy to see them, and if you need to have a conversation, just to get anything off your chest, I'm always here. I'm not as good as I think some of our counselors, but I do love to listen. So I'm always here for you guys.
From working with teenagers, what's something you want older generations to know about teenagers?
That you literally are amazing, and there are so many amazing things, so many awesome things that I've seen coming out of our student body. The projects, I see things when kids are checking in, students are checking in, and they have projects in their hands, and I was like, oh wow, it's like, I feel very good about the future of where we live, because we have an amazing bunch of students here.
If you're not at Lightridge, where can we find you?
Home, mostly.
Are you a homebody?
I have become a homebody. I was not a homebody, but since COVID, a lot of things changed, and so for me, I actually just value my time at home.
Do you like to do it when you're at home?
I read, and I do play games on my phone sometimes too, it's a bad habit, but I read, I cook. Sometimes I enjoy the cooking, sometimes it's just a thing I have to do, but and hang around with my boys whenever they're home, because everybody's busy doing things.
What do you believe is your biggest accomplishment?
My biggest accomplishment is when I look at how sincere my boys can be. And that to me is very important, because I do feel in the world being nice and being considerate is lacking. And I hope that they have more empathy in them, as they grow and become adults, because I think that's lacking in the world.
You could become an expert instantly. What would you want to be an expert in?
More stuff with computers. This is an IT digital world, and I learned a lot since I've started working here. I had, basics down beforehand, and when I was in college, I learned, I learned things, but I would just love to learn more. I feel like this is the way the world is moving, and I'd like to know how to utilize some of those things.
What's the impact you would like to leave on Lightridge?
That you can be a wonderful person, whoever you are, wherever you're from, whatever your background is. You have a lot to give, and I hope that I am a person that people will remember as, someone that they could go to. And peace and love in the world.